Well, hello, boys and ladies and gents and members of the Big Red Army. It's your boy Big Red, back for another week in review live. Sorry, I don't know, let's see, I'm about an hour and 20 minutes late. You just gonna have to forgive me for that because I just got back from eating dinner with my son and we went to the movies. And unfortunately, I can't give you a review of what happened this week on my channel because my computer took a dump on me. And well, oh boy. I didn't post a video yesterday other than the live video that I posted for y'all to know that I wouldn't be posting any new videos for a while because my computer took a crap on me. And anyway, it is what it is. But me and my son had a good dinner. I eat I we have eaten at Bonfire Wings, which they better be lucky I wasn't videoing because yeah, they started slipping. Great flavors. The size of the wings gotten smaller. They used to have them big ass steroid chicken wings, but not no more. Kind of small, kind of flimsy, and they screwed up my son's order. But the movie we went and saw, I wasn't, so thrilled to go and see it. As a matter of fact, I fell asleep twice in the theater, maybe three times. I don't know. I was nodding out. I was tired. My son sat through the whole thing. I went because he wanted to see it. He's a Predator freak, loves the Predator movies, but this one, not so much. He thought it was pretty terrible. He was jazzed to see it though. The commercials and trailers made it look good, but he said, "Dad, this is probably one of the worst ones." That and AVP Requiem. He said those are the two worst ones in the series. Anyway, I'll have to agree. I don't remember Requiem very much. I think I've seen it two or three times, and it didn't leave a lasting impression on me. But the first Predator is amazing. The second Predator was decent. Uh, AVP one was actually good. Predators was actually pretty cool when they went on a planet and they were being hunted. That was pretty cool. But yeah. So hopefully I got this wire. Hopefully, how are you, Stacy? How are you? Um, I was trying to do a weekend review, but I can't because my computer took a dump on me. And hopefully it's just the port because I got a new wire because I'm getting sound without video or any kind of visuals. So hopefully it's just the VGA port, and I got a new wire for the DVI port. Hopefully that solves the problem, and I can start editing videos. And it happened in the middle of me uploading something, and it happened in the midst of me editing a video. Uh, Guy I know said he could, if worst case scenario, if it was the whole computer that crapped out, he can get anything off my hard drive for me, so I'm not too worried about that. But I hope I can get it fixed with just this wire because that would be a cheap, quick fix. And if not, hopefully it's just a graphics card. I could get a cheap graphics card for about $100 or less, and you know, get this thing running, and hopefully it hops along for another year or two because I don't want to go in the hole for another, five, $600 for another computer, uh, especially when I owe so much uh, toward my car. Uh, so hopefully either this or the graphics card will fix the problem and it hops along for another uh, year or two before I have to replace the sucker. Um, Other than that, I was just talking about how terrible the Predator movie is. The best part about it was uh, hanging out with my son for 2 hours at the theater, even though I fell asleep twice in the theater. Don't put me in a cold, dark room and turn out the lights. I'll fall asleep quick. getting too old for all that shenanigans. Anyway, again, I'm sorry for coming on late, an hour and a half late. Uh, Hello to the other two people that came in. Richard said he makes poo poo. That's pretty nice of him. You know what? I make poo poo too. I think the next movie I'm looking forward to coming out is that Queen movie. My son's jazzed about wanting to see the new Halloween movie because he says it's the next one in continuity, and everything else in the Halloween series has been negated, and which I think is pretty crappy because I really enjoyed the first Halloween and I enjoyed the sequel, even though um, even though John Carpenter didn't want to make a sequel and he was pressured into making a sequel. I think Halloween 2 was very good. Everybody hates. Yeah, I think so too. The Queen movie does look fantastic, and whoever did the casting, the wardrobe, and the makeup, if they don't win an award for that, shame on them because that dude's a dead ringer for Freddie Mercury. Um, but yeah, the what John Carpenter did want to do a sequel, but he didn't want to do a sequel with Michael Myers because I read interviews and saw interviews with him where he said he wanted to do Halloween as sequels, but something screwed up in every town. Like he didn't want like when Michael Myers was shot, fell off the balcony and was laying in the front lawn, and they panned away to Dr. Loomis and then looked back at the lawn and he was gone. He wanted that to be the mystery. You know, this kid went nuts. He was possessed or whatever reason why he started whacking people. Uh, and that was it. And then he wanted the sequel to be something screwed up in another town, and that's why Halloween 3, because the tagline for Halloween 2 was the uh, the first one was the night he came home, and the second one was uh, more of the night he came home, and it picked up right where it left off. I thought that was good. What's up, EJ? How are you today, brother? Uh, yeah, y'all need to check out EJ. He does food reviews as well. Um, but yeah, so then the third movie, Halloween 3, the season of the witch. It was the tagline for it was the night no one came home, and that's what John Carpenter wanted to do with the whole series. He wanted a different town, a different story, but all revolving around the Halloween season. You know, like every town had something different that went screwy. You know, which I thought would have been a great concept, but the studios did so well with Michael Myers and they wanted to do a sequel, which was fine. They did the second sequel, and then after Carpenter did season Halloween 3, season of the witch, they were like, no, this was a box office fail, whatever. It was a great movie, and I thought it was good for what it was. And uh, but everybody wanted Michael Myers, Michael Myers. So of course, corporate America, Hollywood was like, nope. You want to make more Halloween movies? They all have to be with Michael Myers. And after, I think which one was it? The Curse of Michael Myers was the last good one because H2O Halloween 20, even though it picked up with Laurie Strode and all of that, it just it was kind of lacking. First Halloween was the highest grossing independent movie until Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, it was a great movie, and it was an indie film because John Carpenter and Deborah Hill uh, financed that themselves. You know, and they had a few backers, but I mean, it was an indie film until this the till I think Miramax bought the rights to it. Um, but yeah, the last good one was The Curse of Michael Myers because it explained a little bit more about the family being cursed or whatever. Thought it was pretty cool. But all the other ones, and especially freaking, let's just talk about how crappy the Halloweens were that freaking Rob Zombie did. Good Lord, those were some turds. Um, yeah, so my son's jazzed about this, but supposedly it wipes away all the other continuity to the movie. Yeah, they did. They I want to say it was on the 20th anniversary DVD or the 25th anniversary DVD. One of the DVDs had a bunch of interviews with Deborah Hill and uh, John Carpenter, and they talked about the making of the movie and how it was financed, this, that, and the other. Yeah, pretty good documentary. I think it was like a half hour long. And I don't remember, again, I don't remember if it was the 20th or the 25th anniversary of it, but yeah, it was in there. Um, so, what did y'all think of Halloween 3? Halloween 3 was, I loved it. Season of the Witch with that uh, Silver Shamrock, the Silver Shamrock Company, and the catchy commercials. Oh man, that was good stuff. As a matter of fact, that was my ringtone for a while. The happy happy Halloween, 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 happy happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. That was my ringtone for the longest time. Uh, I love that movie. I mean, there's not many horror movies I don't like pre 1996. After 96, that's when you started getting them teen horrors and everything started looking shiny and, let's put the pretty people and everything. I like my horror movies dark and gritty. Um, the grittier, the better. And then there's a lot of Japanese horror out there that's freaking amazing. And then, of course, some of the good ones corporate America got a hold of and ruined. The Grudge. That was terrible. Um, the original version of The Grudge, the Japanese version, Ju-on, holy smokes, was that good? That was a good film. Uh, there's another good horror movie series uh, from Japan called, um, what is it? The Guinea Pig series. Man, those are some weird freaking films. Uh, they had, what's that? The Man in the Hole, where the guy finds a mermaid in the sewer and brings her home, and she starts he starts cutting on her, and she bleeds like different colors, and he uses her blood and her pus to make a painting. That was a weird film. And then there's the one, I forgot the name of the one with the samurai, where he just has this chick on the table and he just starts torturing her by cutting off fingers and cutting off toes, and then he cuts off an arm and then a hand, and I mean he just goes to town hacking on this woman, and I mean it looks almost like a snuff film. That's how freaking gory this is. But yeah, I want to say there's like 6 or 7 different movies to the Guinea Pig series from Japan. If you ever get a chance to watch any of them, if you're into horror and blood and guts and gore, yeah, that's worth checking out. They got it subtitled, so you got to read. Some of the stuff don't have much to it, but it's like definitely worth checking out. Yeah, so I guess we're talking horror movies this night. Um, what do y'all want to talk about, like horror movie wise? Um, I'm trying to think the last good horror movie I saw. Um, there was a remake. There's a movie called. Uh, let's see. Wow, didn't. Okay, I still see the. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. I didn't catch the whole thing. I looked away for a second. Um, I saw it said something about The Exorcist, but I didn't catch the whole thing. Sorry. Um, the Wait, I still find The Exorcist to be the movie that scares me the most. Yeah, The Exorcist is really creepy. Um, when I went to Washington D.C., I saw the stairs where the priest got flung down the set of stairs outside, and let me tell you, that's a lot of Hollywood magic because uh, in Georgetown, uh, right outside the suburb of Washington D.C., where they filmed that, the house is up here. Then there's the street, and the stairs way down the street. So the priest would have had to fly out the window across across the yard, across the street, and then down the stairs. That's some good movie magic there, boy. The Nun. Isn't that what was that? Is that a part of the oh, that's a part of a series. Yeah, I hear my son, he's trying to go to sleep and my loud ass woke him up, I guess. He said it's part of the Conjuring series. Uh uh yeah, I'm not a fan of the Conjuring. I saw the Conjuring the first one and it was a turd. Um Poltergeist, yeah, Poltergeist is another good one. That movie had a lot of freaking odd things when they were making that movie. I mean, most of the cast is dead. Like the little girl, she died mysteriously. The old lady that was the medium, she's dead. And they had a bunch of weird stuff happen on the set. I watched a bunch of documentaries about that movie. I like the second one too, with that creepy old guy. Uh, he's like, I love children. Yeah, I went to school with a kid that had like the facial features looked like a younger version of that dude. He was creepy. Um, but what was I saying? Yeah, there's a movie. It's a some people lump it into horror movies. Uh, it can be a drama, whatever. But it's a. I always considered it like almost like a slasher. Not so much a slasher film, but like a revenge film. Um, I Spit on Your Grave. Great film. It was originally titled Day of the Woman. Uh, they did a remake of that probably about 10 years ago. The original film was from the 70s, but the remake was done well because they didn't try to reinvent the wheel. Um, they just updated it from having like a landline phone that was being used to a cell phone. You know what I mean? So, and there was a few differences in it. Well, I'm glad you're here. When I can't see something food whatever. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for hanging out. Um, yeah, if you get a chance to watch that, watch the original version first, and then watch the remake. I Spit on Your Grave. Um, oh, the bathtub scene. Oh, jeez, that's freaking phenomenal. When I saw that movie for the first time, I was like, holy crap! And then the end scene with the outboard motor when she just looks at him and is like, "Suck it, bitch," and she cranks up that freaking outboard motor. Holy crap! That movie was brutal. Love it. She definitely got her revenge. That's for sure. I mean, it sucks that she had to go through what she went through, but her revenge was freaking amazing. I don't remember if they did the bathtub scene in the remake. Now that I'm thinking about it, I got it on DVD. I should watch it again. Yeah, that's like one of my favorite remakes. Um, Amityville Horror, another great film. I like the second one even better. The guy that what's his name, Burt Young, the guy that played Paulie in Rocky, when he's like, "Listen here, priest, I raise my kids the way I see fit." Love that film, Amityville 2. Um, oh, they didn't do that scene. I couldn't remember. I didn't know if they did or not. I couldn't remember, but I mean, I'm surprised anybody remade that movie at all. I mean, it was done well though. I mean, it's one of my favorite remakes. Um, but what else? As far as anything recent horror wise, I enjoyed The Right with Sir Anthony Hopkins. That was pretty good. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was based on some true tales. Uh, but let's get back to Amityville. I remember when I went to Worcester, Massachusetts for a horror to go to this horror theme park. Basically, it was like four or five haunted houses in one area. They had Kane Hodder as a guest doing autographs. Him and Linda Blair. Uh, I didn't see the remake to that. I was almost like, no, don't remake that. I'll give it a shot. I'll check it out. The original's amazing. But what's better than Last House on the Left is Last House on Dead End Street. Ooh, that's a good film. It's pretty hard to find. Well, I mean, now that the internet's out, I mean, it shouldn't be hard to find. I mean, I remember back in the VHS days, that was a tough film to find. What else was I saying? I get so sidetracked with stuff. I'm sorry. Yeah, Amityville. I went to Warsaw, Massachusetts to Horror World and went through the two or three haunted houses. Met Kane Hodder, got my Jason uh, takes Manhattan uh, VHS tape signed. Uh, Took pictures, Kane Hodder and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. And then I went to Salem, Massachusetts for Halloween that year. Uh, Stayed like 2 weeks there. Went to the House of Seven Gables, which was cool. Went whale watching off the pier. And then on the way back, it was like, I said, you know what? And I drove from New Orleans all the way up there. So on the way back, I'm driving and I wanted to see the Lizzie Borden house. Wanted to actually stay there, but we got there, and they're like, "Do you have reservations?" No, I just knew it was a bed and breakfast. Thought I'd stop and see if y'all had a room. Well, come to find out, if you want to go see the Lizzie Borden house, you better make reservations at least 6 months in advance. So we got to see the outside of the house, or whatever. Didn't get to stay there. Uh, saw the front entrance, where you'd go and check in at, but that was about it. So we're making our way back towards New Orleans, coming through the New England states, and I was like, you know what? We're right here in New York. Let's cross over to Long Island. Let's go see the Amityville house. And sure as shit, missed the ferry coming out of Connecticut. So I was like, we'll just drive a little further, catch a bridge across. And let's just say 1 o'clock in the morning is not a good time to find out your friend can't read a map worth of shit very fast. And I'm like, dude, where do we get off? Long Island's long. It's like 50 miles long. It's only about 10 miles wide. So by the time he figured out which highway we needed to get off on to go to Amityville, we done ran out of freeway. We was ground level in Queens. Got lost in Queens. This is all pre GPS and all that. Got lost in Queens at 1 in the morning. Finally figured out how to get to Amityville. Get to Amityville around 2 in the morning, and I'm outside the house taking pictures like the freaking paparazzi. And I'm like, dude, we're gonna wind up going to jail. But anyway, no, we took pictures, this, that, and the other, and the only thing weird is because they shot the film there at the house when they rented the actual house and did the film there. The only thing they did different was, I guess, the new owners didn't want the stigmatism of that being the Amityville house, so they took out the pie-shaped windows and now they have square windows. And also they changed the address from, I think it was like at one point it was 108 Ocean Avenue. Now it's like 106 Ocean Avenue. But what's weird is you look at I don't care if you change the address or petition to have the address changed or whatever, and you change the pie shaped windows, it's the only house that's turned sideways on that street. Every other street, the front door faces the street. This house is the only street that's the house is turned cockeyed. Instead of facing this way, it's facing this way. So the pie-shaped windows, whatever, would be facing out towards you. And that whole thing was based on a true story. Come to find out, that was all debunked. The kid just murdered his family. He was nuts. He wasn't possessed. It was already proved to be a hoax. So, is someone living there now? I don't know. Um, when I went there, I want to say it was 1999. It was 1999 I went. Let's see, hold on. It was either 98 or 99. It was 99, I believe, when I went to New England and all of that. So yeah, that was then. Also on that trip, that was a pretty fun trip. We was coming back and we stopped in Tuskegee, Alabama. We saw where George Washington Carver lab was, where he, found X amount of uses for the peanut and this, that, and the other, and where they did the Tuskegee experiment, where they took a bunch of African Americans and servicemen, instead of giving them penicillin, gave them a placebo, and they all started dying of syphilis and diarrhea, which was pretty crappy in and of itself. They were doing human testing without the humans knowing. That's pretty shitty. But yeah, we saw all of that, and then we came back home to Louisiana. But back to horror movies. Let's see. Trying to think of another good horror movie that I could suggest to you guys. Like I said, Last House on Dead End Street. Excellent film if you could find it. It's a little creepy. Another one, another good indie film that's from like the 70s, Demon Lover. It's also called, it's got like seven different names: The Master of Evil, Demon Lover. What's the other ones? I can't think, but I used to have every, I had like, if there was, I want to say there's seven different titles, because whenever somebody would buy the rights to the film, they'd change the box art and then change the title and title screen, but they would leave the rest of the film intact. But yeah, I had a copy of every different one, every different name that it was under at one point. I was way into horror films. I mean, I still watch them when they come on, but it's like Hurricane Katrina cured me of the collecting bug. I had over, like, I think I may have mentioned it before, I had over 6,000 horror films, about 2,500 sci fi films, and about 1,000 what I like to call offbeat films. The original Omen wasn't bad for what I consider a mainstream horror. I mean, the second and the third one was good. That whole series was good, actually. It tied together well. How eventually Damien became the president of the United States, and it just shows you know how much evil can influence things. It was pretty good. I enjoyed that film series, The Omen. Haven't seen it in a while. Um, what else was another good horror film? Uh, Again, it was originally, it's more of another revenge film, sort of like I was telling y'all about I Spit on Your Grave. It's in that genre of horror, like a revenge film horror. Um, oh, what's the name of it? I'm drawing a blank right now. I was about to say it and I can't. Um, I could describe the whole movie. Now I can't think. Now I'm drawing a blank when it comes to the name. Um, oh, Fight for Your Life. Fight for Your Life is the name of it. Um, there was one actor in it who had did other things before that film, but everybody else was, I think, a nobody. Basically, it was uh, three convicts had escaped, and they ended up taking a black lady hostage and took her back to her place, where the husband and the three kids were there, or the two kids were there, and took the whole family hostage and just humiliated the hell out of them. And I mean, it's very got a lot of racial overtones to it, uh, and they would never ever be able to make a film like that today in today's politically correct society. There's no way they could remake Fight for Your Life. But at the end, the family gets untied and breaks free, and they get their revenge on their captors, and it was really cool. Uh, Good film, but like I said, they'll never be able to remake that one. I don't see that happening in today's society. What else is a good film? Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Amazing, amazing zombie film. The reason I like it so much is because most films, there's always at least one survivor. Not so much with this film. Everybody goes except these. Um, good, good film. Uh, what else? What else? If you want to see a low budget film just for comedic relief, and they tried to make it serious, the Black Devil Doll from Hell. It's another hard one to find, but then today, it might not be too hard with the internet. You might be able to find it somewhere. Sure, somebody's got it in one of those shared files or something, but I know it's never made it to DVD as far as I know. I want to say it was shot on a camcorder, so it's camcorder quality. The soundtrack sounds like it was done with a Casio keyboard. Oh, it's terrible, but it's so terrible it's good. It's about a black woman that goes into an antique shop and sees this black ventriloquist doll, and she thinks it's cool, and she buys it, brings it home, and then all of a sudden, of course, it's coming to life, and it just wreaks havoc on this poor woman, and it's a good time. Uh, so yeah. Anyway, I've been on for about 30 minutes or so. I'm going to wrap this up, guys. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with your boy, Big Red. Sorry again that I was an hour late getting on with my live show. But like I said, I went and had dinner with my son and we went to the movies. Um, I won't be getting any films, any videos up. Plan 9 from Outer Space, that was a good one. That was, oh, who directed that? I'm drawing a blank. Ed Wood. I believe that was Ed Wood who made some uh, pretty off the wall films. Uh, but yeah, I'm going to wrap this up here, guys. Uh, there won't be any new videos from me coming out uh, until I get this computer thing situated. Um, Tomorrow I'm going to plug in this new cable and see if it's just the port that went bad. And if I get visuals on the computer, I'm up and running. If not, I got to go get a cheap video card and throw it in there. And if that don't work, I don't know what's going to happen because I really don't have the money to buy a new computer right now, but I'll have to figure out something. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with your boy, Big Red. Now y'all just need to do me that favor. Tell your ma, tell your pa, tell your greasy grandma. Share the video with your family and friends. Show them how you get down with Big Red. Maybe they'll get down with Big Red too. And I appreciate y'all from the bottom of the big fat belly to the top of the almost bald dome. Like I said, it's almost bald. I still got fuzz up here. And I keep it cut to a number 2. And I still got that rat tail braid growing back there. So I won't ever be totally bald. And so anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna sign off, and hopefully I'll catch you guys next Sunday at 9 o'clock live, and hopefully I get my computer thing resolved this week, and then get back to posting. But until then, go enjoy some of the videos you may have missed, and I'll see y'all next week live. Thanks for watching. Peace.